Shura Soki Shonam Janju Baru Dani Yatsuchi Ndagi Shunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Chola Benje Sange Jupa Sho Shura Soki Shonam Janju Baru Dani Kyapsuchi Ndagi Shunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Chola Benje Sange Jupa Sho Shura Soki Shonam Janju Baru Dagni Gabzuchi Dagi Shunyan Gi Pesonam Gi Chola Penche Sange Jupa Sho
Who's that?
It's easy with the breeze here. Yeah. Actually, with the door open, it will be a little bit better.
It is a small harbor.
If we don't put this on from that door, it'll slam. That door will slam.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah, put some here.
Can I see the... Does anyone have that?
Yeah.
Can I look at this?
You can have one.
It's okay. Just...
Okay, anyway. Are you guys hot? You guys forget?
Geshe-la's, can I tell you
Yeah.
page? Geshe-la's going to skip to page 16 of the translation of Jessie Trippy Gelson's Necklace of Learned Explanations.
Okay, Dharma Kirti.
The other stuff is really complicated. I have this there.
We have a little skip because the part is more difficult. If you know already, then no problem. If you doesn't know exactly what the main thing, then there are a lot of debates. Then you don't know which one you follow. Therefore, first we have a skip. Then after we understand complete, then maybe we go back. Then we have debate. Okay?
Do you need this copy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, everybody set up the perfect motivation to achieve benefit all sentient beings, achieve full enlightenment. Therefore, I study Dharma, be patient to hardware that. This is more important. And anyway, usually Buddhism is everybody knows, Bodhisattva. Usually this word here is 1022 Buddhas come in this world, this time. The Bodhisattva is the fourth one, sure. And three Buddhas.
What do you do?
I've seen the book, The Fortunate Eon, the book which is 1,000, but I don't know.
1,000 Buddha, yeah, that's what
I think maybe I don't know where I don't know something. I have some Tongzani. Anyway, three Buddhas really came. They give teaching that we are not available with them. But Buddhism also come that we are not fortunate to meet him. he come to this is what he teach that we are not with him. But after he passed away, he chose to pass away. Then many India masters come in. We got into Judaism.
17 scholars, Panditas.
Anyway, they wrote Buddha's teachings to commentary. But a little bit more easy. Also there are many commentaries. Then the Lord Sangha Sambugi said Kongi and Jesus Shalom so and you told you like a drama you should touch it
So there are 21 commentaries by Haribhadra alone. There are 21 commentaries to the ornament of clairrealization.
And they should not independent that children touch Kashi Omer Kola, Kashi Bigger Kola, Kashi passing call. But not something danger not Mamu yourself.
So these 17 scholars or editors or scholars who compose commentary to different topics. Some commented on the perfection, some commented on the middle way, some commented on the Vinaya, and some Abhidhamma Kosha and so forth. And so the Haribhadra is one of the 17 scholars. And so among all these different commentaries, the one that we are studying now is based on the commentary known as Clear Meaning. So that again has many different commentaries, like the Ornament of Clairrealization. There are 8 chapters, and so the 8th chapter of the Ornament of Clairrealization, there are 8 commentaries. And so, this Jidin Chogi Gyaltsen, taught the Salam and other texts, so based on the commentary by Haribhadra, the known as Clear Meaning, because the reason why he based on that is because it is easier to understand. It's clear and easy to understand.
But for us, not easy.
And so Jidin Chogi Gyaltsen is actually the 5th abbot of Serje Monastery. And so there are many different scholars who wrote different commentaries of different scriptures. And so the different monasteries study the scriptures and composed by different scholars. And Serje Monastery and actually Ganden Changze, among the 2 monasteries in Ganden, Sharzen Changze and Serje Monastery, they study the commentary or the composition of Jidin Chogi Gyaltsen. And Losaling is the Debo Monastery, who study the scripture composed by Asasusa, Losan Chogi Gyaltsen.
Everybody has their own abbats they wrote. They can follow them. What is that? Then I do that, Kazan, Kanata, Sour Kazan, Tambo, Ranu de Habona, catching shade of Jenny and Hako with this. Tambo Ranu de Yaboli Moshi Jenny, and Yani, Yabuakona to the way nothing to Yanjo Yarde, and the Yanjo catch to Chin Nipan on the part of the way.
So I think it would be better to go through our own system first. So our own system is the system composed by, taught by Geshe Ngawang, and then there are some arguments, disputes and so forth, by some other people. So when we talk about the debates, or the arguments, and so forth by some other people, if you don't understand what actually what our own system says, then it will be difficult to understand that. And so maybe first we'll just go through our own system, and then if you want, then we can go back and then study about those debates that other people have said. And so the reason why we study those debates is that that helps us to clarify our doubts, our conceptual thoughts about the different topics and so forth. So for that reason, we study about those debates. And so if we just say, if we just accept whatever we say is like that, then and if there's nobody who says it's not like that, it should be like that, and so forth. If there's nobody to say that, then our doubts will not be clear, and our insight, our wisdom will not increase. And so in order to identify or to find out the truth, then you discuss what is the truth. So you find it out through discussions, debates, and so forth. So that is according to the system of the scholars or pandits of India. So other than that, if we just accept whatever the guru says or the other person says, then will not increase our knowledge that much.
Okay.
So now we go through we jump down to our own system and go through that, and later then we can jump back again and study those debates. And so our one system, the presentation of ground and the presentation of path, so the two divisions. And then first the presentations of the ground, which has definition, division, and the meaning of the terms. And so the first, it talks about the definition, right? Definition of the ground. So the definition of a ground within the division of the ground and path. And it says a clear realization of one who has entered a path that serves as a basis for the many good qualities that are its effect. And so in this case, in this context, the path and ground are synonymous, they are mutually inclusive. And so possessing the genuine, the renunciation, is the thought of renunciation, is the definition of path. And so don't make mistake in this case, the path and ground in this context are synonyms. So the renunciation you know the renunciation, right? The renunciation is a it's a genuine wish, wanting to be free from cycle existence throughout day and night. And so whoever has generated that thought of renunciation, the genuine renunciation, then that person has entered into a path. So now you understand, right, that path and ground are mutually inclusive. And now you know the different definitions and the paths and grounds, right? And so when there's a debate, the debate is based on the definition. So sometimes they will omit, the word, from the definition. Sometimes they will add a word to that, and that's and so how it is if we say this is the definition of path, this is the definition of ground, and then based on that, then you debate. So is it whether it's all right to say that or it's not all right. And so here, every part of the definition. So here, the clear realization of one who has entered a path, right? And so it has to be a clear realization, of one who has entered a path that serves as a basis for many good qualities. And so the virtues within our mind also, right? The virtues within our mind also serve as a basis, for many good qualities that are its effect. But because it is not a clear realization of one who has entered into a path, therefore it's not a ground.
Okay, a little bit, just little what the big missing, big different missing. Okay, that don't know how to do it.
Makes different meaning.
Okay, and that something the long thing to the kind of Lord to
And so now, can you say the definition of the ground? What is it? A clear
realization of one who is into the path that serves as the basis for the many good qualities that are its effect.
When we, one of the teacher give to teach us, we watch his face, then he said, okay, now you say, then we have to try to memorize it, to say. The day moves to more, what's it, stable your mind. Otherwise, he said, oh, then that
so now you should always think that path and ground are synonymous. It has the same meaning. But later, we'll talk about the 10 grounds, the 10 bhumis or 10 grounds. And that ground again that's different from the ground and path, ground of the ground and path here. And so because the reason is that if it is that ground, that 10 ground, then it is necessary to be a path. But if it's the path, it's not necessary to be that, those 10 grounds.
But just keep that there's something different. But mostly everything is true. Okay.
So now we know the definition of the ground of the ground and path, right? And then now there comes the division. So when it's divided, then there are two, right? The Hinayana grounds and the Mahayana grounds.
Oh yeah.
And then the definition of the Hinayana ground is a clear realization of one who has entered a Hinayana path that serves as a basis for the many good qualities that are its effect. And then again, so these are the Hinayana ground. There are 8 of them.
And Rikisa, Jebisa, and Sibisa, Nechona Travisa, 샤와 또비사 인도이다 라데이사 다도 두샤다시 그래서 인내다 누소 인제 니 망체 인투기 그나 르지사서 때다 조놈 저는 좀 고마고 말아 다 간데 인도다 라데니게 람고 유대들 이제 람고 유대들.
And so then the 8 divisions are the ground of lineage, ground of age, ground of seeing, ground of diminishment, ground free from attachment, ground realizing the produced, ground of healers, ground of soul realizers. Then it says other grounds such as the ground of seeing white and aspect are similars, white action says exactly similars. So it says that the ground of seeing the white aspect. So that so that one is actually referring to the healer's ground first. So it says that the reason, it says again, the etymology of the ground of the white aspect. It says it's because it's called the white because it is it's at the beginning of the path. So when you start to produce or grow virtues. And so because there are just 2 Hinayana paths, right? The Hinayana grounds or paths, so everything can be included into the healer's ground and solitude realized ground. And so the Hinayana path has 2, right? The healer's path and the solitude realizer's path. And so the first it talks about the definition of the healer's path or healer's ground. It's a clear realization of a healer which serves as a basis for the many good qualities of which are its effect. And now that is divided into 2 again. It's the ground of the healer ordinary being and the ground of the superior healers. And now it talks about the healers, the ordinary healers, ordinary beings, the healer ordinary beings. And the definition of that is the clear realization of a healer which serves as a basis for the many good qualities which are its effect, and a clear realization which is included in the continuum of the healer ordinary being. So that makes it the ordinary beings, and that is divided into 2, the grounds of the path of healer's path of accumulation and the healer's path of preparation. So generally there are 5 paths of healers. And so there are 2 which are ordinary beings path, and the 3 which are superior beings path. So the first ground that you enter in the healer's path is it's called the path of accumulation. So the moment you generate wish, wanting to be free from cycles, the renunciation, and the wish, wanting to be free from cycle existence all day and night, then that time you have entered into the path of the accumulation of healers. And so through meditations and practices, when you come to generate this genuine wish, wanting to be free from cycle existence, throughout day and night, then at that time you have entered into the path. So that time that person is a person who has entered into path. So at that time you have only entered into a path, you're not a superior beings. Whether or not you are ordinary being, or spirit beings, it depends on whether or not you have realized emptiness directly. And so, so again, as you know now, that hearers have 5 paths, right? The hearer have 5 paths, and 2 are ordinary paths, and the 3 are spiritual paths. And so first it talks about the 2 ordinary paths. Those are the path of accumulation and path of preparation. So we talked about, we already went through that definition of the ordinary being hearers, right? Hearer, ordinary being, and then it's divided into 2: the hearer's path of accumulation and hearer path of preparation. So if you know this, understand this, then it's very easy to understand, with the solitary realization path and the Mahayana path, because it's similar. You just follow it in this way.
Okay.
So those are the 2 ordinary beings path of the hearers, and that's called path of accumulation and path of preparation. And so the first is called, it mentions about the definition of the hearer's path of accumulation. And this is a clear realization of doctrine of hearer. So that's when you first enter into the path of the hearers. And so, anyway, there are so many synonyms, in the hearer's path of accumulation. And so here now, in one of the synonym, is called the clear realization of doctrine. And so that's, they use it here for the definition of the hearer's path of accumulation.
And 충에도 사야돼 수라 지가래. 근데 최다 대니견은 저 내가 다 남아요 쇼니 저야 측때는 제바시면 내가 이제 인사 안에 충에도 다 다시로 그러더라고.
So at this point, of entering into the path, you mainly focus on the word, and among the word and meaning, you mainly focus on the word, and so therefore it's called the realization of doctrine.
아니 처럼 사야돼 다 양치 남라 쇼네 다 상제 토베가 속 토마사비네 가나 아니 처럼 세다 속사시비네 가.
And it's also called the path of accumulation, because after having entered into the path, you start to accumulate a great amount of merit, doing that path. So therefore, that path is called the path of accumulation.
어디 다 간에 다도 좋고 저저저 지들이 간제 만제 니들이 추는 것도 니도 도는 거 되니스.
So the clear realization of doctrine of hearer, is the definition of hearer's path of accumulation.
아, 그래서 다 니도 처음 가디잖아. 가서도 남을 쉬고 그래요. 아, 그 정도.
So whenever the person have entered, and generated the hearer's path of accumulation, the person has entered into the hearer's path. So the hearer's ground and hearer's path are synonymous, right? And then it says the clear realization of a meaning is the definition of the hearer's path of preparation.
아니 대응에도 세대시다야 소라라 진짜 대니인데 다 좋대. 다 때는 봐봐. 집이 있는 가이만 대응에도 다 라마리스 코다시노도 있어.
And so the etymology says that because among the two, the word and meaning, it mainly focuses on or analyzes on the meaning, and therefore it's called the path of preparation.
또 조시고 가면 저랑 알아서 그냥 소라가 틀라 말아서 또 나는 지금이 또 되는 대로도 말아서 다 뒤에 가서 남자 쉬네 네 그 파샤는 거죠.
And so among the word and meaning, so you mainly focus on the words, or sometimes you mainly focus on the meaning. So in the path of preparation, you mainly focus on the meaning. So that's why it's called the realization, the clear realization of the meaning.
나왔지. 다들 저도 대 쇼라고 지도 어디 보는 거 다 당본인데 천하라 천함 춘수면서 와.
And so the first, the path of hearers, accumulation, the hearer's path of accumulation, and that's divided into three: the great, middling, and small.
아니 조놈라 아니 조놈 계속 시켜줘야 돼, 와.
And then the hearers, the hearer's path of preparation, and it has four divisions. It's called the heat, and then a heat and so forth. So heat, forbearance, what's that? The peak, the heat, peak, forbearance, and supramundane path.
아니 양아직 당보 섬라야 춘지쳐서 레레레잖아. 그용도.
And then each of first three, has is divided into three levels: the small, medium, middling, and great. So each of these, the first three has three divisions. So that's 9 divisions there.
오케이. 다내 강가 다 니도 소소시고 되는데 딱 소소시고 찹사 버릴 거리나. 니들이 소소시고 거래나 소소시고 찹사. 무슨 도셔다 돼.
So now here we're talking about the ordinary being, right? The hearer, an ordinary being, and a hearer, ordinary being. And so if you're on the path of accumulation or path of preparation, then you are necessarily hearers, ordinary beings, ordinary being.
봐. 와, 다른 좀 그 주말로 담보가서 사기 되니까 그래 봐. 좀 갖고 와서.
So you're not confused now, right? What is the definition of ground first?
Anybody got it?
Anybody got it?
Direct realization of someone who's entered into a path which acts as the basis.
Clear realization.
Oh, clear realization.
And direct realization.
Whichever you prefer. Of
Whichever.
someone who has entered into a path which acts as a firm basis of numerous qualities that become its own result, that are its own result.
콜라 고소와서 이래 알아. 다 된지가 사단 남이 대주인 마스.
So now the path and ground are, of this context, are synonyms, right?
다 대라나 가세 다 살에 가세 있는 거 보면 다 남나 가세 있는
How many divisions are there to ground?
It depends.
How many divisions?
It depends.
First
There can be two, if you just say the Hinayana and the Mahayana.
Yeah.
But then you can divide those further.
How many does the text say?
It says more than one. It says like 2 first.
Yeah, so whatever the text is, right?
Yeah.
But it also
Agreed.
says those are divided, subdivided.
Yeah, the subdivisions, but the main divisions. We're talking about the main divisions. We're not talking about the subdivisions. So whatever the text is, what are the divisions now? The text is.
Okay, 2.
You have to have something to base on.
2.
Otherwise, you'll be everywhere.
Everybody, yeah, everybody is good, okay? 다 담보들 인도 와서.
So the first one has 2, right?
금메지 사단 대지 사니.
What are they?
Hinayana.
Hinayana ground and Mahayana ground.
다 가서 시험때 다 대면의 시험을 나서 대지 때 샤셔도.
So now we're talking about what?
Hinayana.
Mahayana ground?
Hinayana.
Hinayana ground. Talking about Hinayana ground.
Mahayana ground, we put a little bit out there. First we need to prepare to Hinayana, okay? 다 Hinayana telaya. 다 Hinayana 식당 Hinayana 된 테니까나. 그러면 저 뒤에 대비시대 시비 힘이진가 봐도 봐서 가가도 왔을 때 가가도
So what is the definition of Hinayana ground?
식당 세지로.
It's the same as the other ground, except the realization is of
The Hinayana practitioners.
Yeah.
다가지 대매지는 아치다 대매 니도라니
Someone
이어
who's entered at Hinayana.
가마셔지 다시 당으로 와 대매지라 좀 것도 봐서 everybody got it? Okay, when I ask again then don't say oh okay 다 든디 대매들아야 아니 멤버 사제세야다 아니 니도서다 마제리 사니세야도 어 가보나마 두개 사세 그것도 제도 말로 숨렁도 와서 인도 강가다 대매사래로 와.
And so now here you can say that there are many different way of dividing the Hinayana ground, right? And so into the 8 or into just 2, the hero's path and hero's ground and Sotivida's ground. Then it says the ground of seeing wide aspects and so forth, right?
근데 가시에는 돈아인도 가시 다주면은 봐. 다시 조만도 같은데 다 고독하가요서 내 고시다는 거예요.
And so here, when we talk about the ground of the lineage and ground of 8 and the ground of seeing, so these are talking about again part of the different grounds. Like some talking about the ground, some talking about the path of accumulation, some talking about the path of seeing, some talking about path of meditation. So that's why there are the different way of dividing them. But mainly, it's just 2. You can say hero's ground and Sotivida's ground.
다 년도가 사이트니까 그런 거 제대로 다 년도진 거 같고 봐서 단다 시당 테마진 것도 드라마 상황에서 재밌다 만나는 사람도.
And so now there's the definition of the hero's ground, right? The ground of the hero. And so that's what? What's that? The definition of hero's ground?
Realization for a hero shows the basis of many good qualities which are surpassing.
못했다 년도지. 다 대라 년도가 남더라. 수도치고 남치던 바벨랑 예요 그러시다.
So here you have to say the clear realization of a hero, right? So you can't say clear realization of the Hinayana, because that includes the social realization as well. So now we're just talking about the heroes, and so there's a clear realization of hero, which serves as a basis for the many good qualities which are its effect. And so these are again the hero's ground is divided into 2. The ground of heroes ordinary being and ground of spirit heroes.
다 년도가 다 년도 사단 년도랑 대중인 거 같아.
And so the hero's ground and hero's path are synonymous again, right?
근데들아 년도 소소시고 사치당 바베사니 왔어.
And so that has again the ordinary ground and the spiritual ground, right?
다 년도 소시 사대 다 종남도 종하니까 이 봤어.
So the ordinary ground of the heroes is the path of accumulation and path of preparations, right?
아니 년도 종은 가디 토발 강가되잖아.
So when does person become a being who have entered into the path of accumulation?
And they realize
The clear realization of doctrine of a hero.
Yeah.
그래?
청문도서.
야,
청문도 남도 보는 양도처럼.
And renunciation.
간지 딱 민주 다 대면에서만 말거든요. 간지 고다르게라 민주 선바 그디 개발은 다 간지 초놈식을 주로 라마 주로 들어와. 다그 년도 주면 년도 주로 와. 카파제는 다 대전에 주로 와서.
So anyway, renunciation is the main thing, right? So when you have genuine renunciation, that's when you enter into a path. So if your your goal is to achieve the hero's enlightenment, then that becomes the hero's path of accumulation, and so you can change that to same with the Mahayana. So if your goal or the wish to achieve is to achieve enlightenment, full enlightenment or Buddhahood, then it becomes the Mahayana renunciation, the Mahayana path of accumulation.
그래서 다 간소 쇼케는 문화받치 냐면다고 친데다한테 다 민주주의 답치기로 왔어.
And so whatever we're doing throughout the day, from early morning throughout the day, all this practice that we do is in order to generate renunciation in our mind, right?
다 민주주의 색깔이 주는 왔어.
So what is the measure of having generated renunciation in our minds? The measure.
What? Loudly.
Spontaneous and effortless
그래.
throughout day and night.
What?
The desire to be free from samsara is spontaneous and effortless, 24 hours a day.
Are you sure?
I don't know. We talked about it like last time, I think. He said something about like how a mother always worried about the child even when they do something different. It's not like they really are thinking consciously, but they have it there always.
Yeah, but it's still effortless and spontaneous. It's not always the foremost thing in their mind, but it's always there.
I don't remember the precise
But how is that the measure?
definition.
Why do you call it a measure then?
Our measure is it's like what makes you this, or what makes you not this. Like how from here to here
What's the
is
tipping
this.
point?
Where to from there is this. So we're just using the word measure. So what kind of realization makes you to have that knowledge or not have that knowledge?
What's the demarcation point?
Yeah, something like that.
So I think children should go. Yeah, that's a good idea. Spontaneous and what did you say?
Spontaneous and effortless
Through day and night.
through day and night.
간제 지는 것이 송이 와서 로토는 인생 근데 타왔더니 쉬나한테 되게 뛰어올라. 근데 대세한테 니 가서 라인 맞춰도 뭐 가지야 디디로 그렇게 되는 대체해야 돼. 그리고 아마지나 보고 부부만 째네. 나와 가시 maybe too old maybe they did that much. Maybe 5-6 months then always they think about they do other things also. 그래서 맞아지. 진짜 자를 타 민주 장자 대신에 선도 그 다시 인도하고 말이죠. 간지 깨초초씩 내려오고 싫어.
So yeah, I don't think it's like that thought is manifesting all the time, 24 hours a day. It's not. I don't think it's like that. It's just like I said before. A person, a mother, who has given birth to a child who's about 3-4 months old, and the mother is always thinking about the child, even when she's busy doing other things. She's always thinking about the child. In her mind, the thought of the child is always there. But then, when the child grows a little bigger, maybe 4 or 5 years old, then she doesn't worry that much. Don't think about the child that much. And so it has to be like around time when the child is about 3-4 months old.
대마저 들이 내주리 짜장면 제대로나 로제만 게 마디가 저는 그러고.
And so it doesn't have to be permanent, or manifesting all the time. If it is manifesting all the time, then there will be no chance for other minds to manifest, right? So when you have other mind, then you have to say you don't have renunciation.
그래서 그나 만조 이거 배 때문에 오다 되고 가라야. 다치 안 좋지 도망가는 것도 좋지. 안 좋고 좋지. 투투게 되나요? 세워줘야 하고요, 맞아. 나만 가지고.
And so, just like when we are watching a very entertaining a movie or something, then our main focus is on the movie. About that time, maybe somebody might say something. You might hear that, but your attention is not that. Your attention is more on that. But you still have the ability to hear the words, even though it's not 100% clear. But you have that ability. So you have to say you have the ability to understand the words or hear the words.
요즘 제발 차진비 내까지 안주 예제대 나라면 잘 그거가 되나 그 따다 있는다고 말이죠.
So it becomes inattentive. So you're not paying full attention to that. So that's what we call that inattentive thought. So at the time when when your mind or when your eye consciousness is completely overwhelmed by a beautiful object, at that time you do hear the sound, but it's not very clear. So that the consciousness is called inattentive consciousness.
어디 간제 맞에 다 민주 세야 돼. 민주 가르치나 총합 제거를 민주 제외 세대 다 타왔던 일로데 다 주님의 자리에 제거셔나 아니 민주 제거를 대양 가르나 다 넘어서 아마 직배죠. 한 번도 이러고 있어요.
So anyway, the measure of having entered into the path, is when you have entered and when you have generated the renunciation, and then the measure of having generated renunciation is when you have that wish, wanting to be free from psychosis throughout day and night. Then you have generated the renunciation, and then the example I gave is like a mother's care towards the child who is about 3-4 months old.
다 되는 년디 총들아 다 체체 총스나 방법들의 체스 되는 게 총스다. 거기 깨달고 줘서 watch.
And so now that path of accumulation of the heroes is divided into how many? 3. Great, middling, and small, right?
방법들은 만도 전부 다 되는 중되는 데에서 뭔가 되는 데 중으로
So the great, middling, and small, right?
다들 손nom지 다 전화라다 나도 대는 돈이 봐서 전화라 전화해서 시지.
And then what is the definition of the path of preparation?
근데 전화받이
The
가지고
realization of the meaning of that, right?
간제 손놈 치르쳐도 야 간제 다 버는로 놓고서 나배나 손놈 침보와 되가 손놈 제토발라 속 강한 싸고 받을 거지 싸서 만나 줘. 아니 가리 손놈 데려 봐도 봐. 아니 되네 아니 좀야 그래 침보를 봐도 봐. 근데 아니 딱 나도 단절로 해 봐야지. 아니 딱 그래. 본인한테 한통 남 더바나 아니 드리대 다 조용 봐도 우리 말이지. 다 단절로 지 양로지로 해나. 근데 천원 받대 좋아. 근데 이제 천원 받대기 돈이라면 배 한통 남 더바이나 아니 조용 더바 다 되냐 좋아.
So the way to move from path of accumulation to path of preparation, is during the path of preparation, you have a certain amount of merits to accumulate. So when you have accumulated a certain amount of merit, and then you move up into that 3 different levels, small, middling, and great. And then from the great, you again keep on accumulating merit to be in order to have the realization of emptiness. And so when you have the insight into emptiness, then the moment you have insight into emptiness, then you move up to the path of preparation, from path of accumulation.
간제 근데 남세대 강다 뒤지지 해도지 10박 제주주로 와.
So the path is again, here we're talking about the path as a knowledge or realization within the continuum of that person.
좋아. 나 근데 인도 토나바 대제라 내차 제가 또 그거 여러 가지 좀 하고 그러고.
So that kind of being, who is on the path of accumulation of the heroes, has all kinds of delusions, right? Like attachment, anger, ignorance, and so forth, right?
어디 하고 와 있나 대제라 내주 선배 지금은 제바데 여와인다 아니 콜라를 주도 하지. 다 들어야 공도 아니 다 저는 중등 진보서 하고 땅으로 그냥 담도 왔어.
So when he or she has generated the renunciation, a wish wanted to be free from sacrifices throughout day and night, and then he has entered into the path, and then from there you keep on accumulating merit more and more, and then you move up, and then eventually when you have insight into emptiness, then you move up to the path of preparation, the second path.
다 드는 야바 다 니들 존엄식 드는 존엄으로 왔다 존엄 제쯤으로 치주시 존엄 침조 대 동반이라 남바샤네 동반이 때에서 남 동반이나 다 존엄하고 그러더라 봐봐줘.
And then in the path of preparation there are 4 levels. So the first one is called the heat, and then there's the peak, and then there is the forbearance, and then there is the supramundane. And so from there, during all these paths, you keep on meditating on emptiness, and then eventually, when you come to realize emptiness directly, then you move up to the third path, the path of seeing.
그나 죄도 증오사야 되구나. 죄도 어디도 너무 매를 거기로 왔어. 아니 다 매를 가지나 본인에서 또 혈압 그 매대가 아니 다 된서 머리부터 공명할 때 맥세셔 봐. 다코 대라야 다 가는 영화는 죄세요. 어디 더 나와요. 그 다시 넣는데요.
And so it's the peak, the heat, and the level, peak level, and so forth. So the heat is called the heat because at that time you are meditating on the emptiness, and so emptiness is like it's the antidote to the delusions, like the fire that destroys all the things, burns all these things, right? And so you have that heat of the fire, to burn the delusions. You're close to that, and so that's why it's called heat.
다 제모다 그 저바사야지 다 간지 아니 나도 말이 봐대 빠야 된다라 딱 깔리 가서 잡고는 저딩이 딱 깔리 잡토가 저바스 주조서야 돼 소소치고 산 타마이다 다 주초 그래서
I don't know about the peak, but then the forbearance, is like a patience, right? Being patient. Forbearance, being able to forbear any kind of hardships that you have to go through in order to meditate on the emptiness. And then supreme mundane quality, is because it is the last part of the mundane, mundane path, last of the mundane path. And so this is the best, or the highest of the mundane path. That's why it's called the supreme mundane quality.
맞아. 다들 주조바데 동반이나 냠바시는 동반이 되면서 또 받아 돌아봐 되냐. 괜히 딱 냠좀 터지라 그래. 냠바셔도 찌르려 들어.
And then from the supreme mundane quality, while you are in that part, in that level, and you enter into a meditation, and then in that same session, during the same session, when you come to realize emptiness directly, then you move up to the path of seeing. So the transition from the path of preparation to path of seeing happens in one session. And so it happens in one meditative session, and in that very next session in that very session, then person, when he or she comes to realize emptiness directly, becomes a superior being. So first you enter into the path of accumulation, then you go move up to the path of preparation, then you go up to the path of seeing. So that's how you enter into a path and then move up to the different levels. So first you have to understand these, the basic things, and then once you understand this, then later when we talk about the debate, then it will not be too confusing.
Okay, which level are you guys? Path.
We are looking at through the gate,
Not
still
there.
outside.
We're in Dharma divers.
Good. And you very close to door, very close. We reach down the close the door. Be very close. Or maybe very far away.
Geshe-la, could you please repeat what determines how you move from the path of accumulation to the path of preparation? Because I thought you said it was the realization of emptiness, but I thought that moved you later into the next path.
It was the insight.
Basically, like Geshe-la answer questions.
처음에 저런 포에도 가도 보고 그랬어. 저런 돈이 또 보내는 저런 보고 그랬어. 돈이 또 지라던데 야 가서 저런 토람 또 포가 가서 그때는 돈이 또 가고 그랬어.
네, 담보대 다 돈이 대시듯이 또 돈이 하면 되네. 그래, 나도도 없어요. 가지 돈이 가서 또 말했어. 돈이 가서 남 또 봐이나 아니 돈은 벌어 버려.
So there's a difference, in realizing emptiness and realizing emptiness directly.
Okay.
So you realize emptiness when you move up from the path of accumulation to the path of preparation. But then you realize emptiness directly when you move up from path of preparation to path of seeing.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's first.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
When it says, with number 5, it says that the definition of a hearer's path of accumulation is a clear realization of doctrine of a hearer. The word doctrine, does that mean renunciation of cyclic existence? The word doctrine, because the next thing, number 6, for the preparation path of hearer, it says the realization of the meaning. So could you please elaborate on the word doctrine and meaning?
최원도에서 최되어라. 니네들은 예전에 그거 그랬어. 제가 되네야 대형원도에서 저람라 대형원도에서 된데 가서 그랬어. 그게 직시.
Are you feeling that? 단단시다. 시다 나도 그게 단단 네가 자신도 없이나 충분도 써야 돼. 소라지 쓰다 대닝이 나네. 딱 나라 주니 저 책도나야. 제와시면 가면서 중요도 없어. 그래서
어쨌든 최대 거를 보고 있어.
주대. 다 소라지 투대니가 나네. 취대는 나도 소라 뜻이로 봐. 이 책다 대니면 책다라 소로 책 삼로 다시 제가라. 아니 중요도 없어. 아니 되게 책대니가 나네. 대조 다 삼로 제와지고 가라. 아니 대가도 없어. 다 그거 다시로 드셔야죠. 제가 취대는 나도 다 달라. Dharma-세리 그죠? 빠졌다. 책선도.
So the doctrine here, is the Dharma. Any Dharma.
되게 Dharma인데 소라.
So the scripture, the scripture, the text. And so that's the Dharma here. And so anyway, so whatever the scripture or the text that you're studying, your focus is mainly on the word rather than on the meaning. You're focusing mainly on or analyzing mainly on the word. So that's during the path of accumulation, and then in the meaning, and then during the path of preparation, among the two, the word and meaning, you're analyzing more on the meaning rather than the word. So that's just the terms, the meaning of the terms. But anyway, so the doctrine which is referring to the Dharma, so that includes the renunciation as well.
Doesn't matter what scripture is it being referenced, it's any scripture.
It's just the meaning of the term,
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily definite. 최세 최대 가다 시단 최 정말 세요 말. 나 최고도 세 최대 가를 거.
되니 최대 안에 가는 소라비 최대니가 안에 측도
다시 말.
측도 그냥
맞죠. 최고도 세 최대 가를 거 그래서. 최고도 세 최대잖아. 최고도 세 최대 가를 거. 가를 거. 다 맞아. 최라도 최대 다 지다. 가르쳐. 또 그 예중대 예중으로 그거 이렇게 정지성으로 그거 이렇게 동료들을 제가 그거 가를 거. 다 최세다.
시다 다시 넣어야 단데 취세된 가서 염내 제기 딱 빼자서 취되라고 그래서 근데 취 대기 땅아도 굳이 빼는 감이 되는 거예요. 까지 되게 소라지 틀린 얘기 나네. 대라 취세. 대다 취된 지등이 취도 많이 맞지도.
특특특계적으로 누가 말하대. 시도 안 듣다 시작했더라. 근데 내가 없어 대치고 마서 내가 취세를 들라도 다시 되고 그거 말아. 취세야 되라. 시도 더 얘기 나는 식세 다시 그거 말아. 일단 그래서 대가 없을 때는 근데 제가 알았는데 고치고 와라. 사람이 없어.
전화가 가다 충에도 써야 될 때, 너가 가려다 고 나시노 발람으로. 전화가 충에도 나게도 왔어. 가져 나갔으나 아니 소라기 트든이가 나게다 저책 대나 지워지고 나까지 나면서 아니 충에도 나와라 해서 다 듣고 내게.
그들은 이나다 취해서 지난 처리 가려고 왔어요.
근데 추대다 들이 추대 가르나 당가도 다만 양도해야 돼.
So it's referring to the scriptures, the scriptures that you are studying. And so the etymology or the terms of the meaning is that among the word and the meaning of the scripture, they mainly concentrate or analyze on the word. Therefore, it's called the clear realization of doctrine. And so among the word and meaning of the scriptures, they are mainly concentrate on the meaning. Therefore, it's called the clear realization of meaning.
충분히 세대 가르잖아. 다 법이지다. 근데 이것도 왜도 줄을 봐. 충분히 지고. 대제 생명 대주들라. 양아도 주시다. 주보도 세다만 다 이거스.
So the scripture, is called the Dharma or the doctrine. That's not the actual doctrine, but because it explains about the doctrine, the actual doctrine is the true path and true cessation, true path and true cessation within the continuum of the Arya beings. So that's the actual doctrine. But because these scriptures, they explain about those qualities, therefore they are also called doctrine.
다 그대로 된다. Okay? Okay, now you try.
Well, it's Andy's turn, but this is directly related to that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Is it, so that distinction, that distinction between focusing on the words versus the meaning, is that a conscious decision on the part of the practitioner? Or once you have that insight of emptiness, is it a natural progression that you start focusing on the meaning and not the words? So is it conscious or not conscious, that switch?
다 그런 게 있으나 저기 다 책도 되는 책을 삼로다 된 삼다세저라 때부터 삼신도 지거력이 가르치고 그랬어. 근데 삼신도 때디 삼로다는 때에 가서 되나 삼로다는 때에 그 돈이 떠오르고 그랬어. 삼신도 저래를 말해서 보다. 맞지? 하고 그 저래 제일 말았어. 당가 책도 되는 책 하나가 된 삼다는 거다. 당가 된 책주 삼다는 데에 삼신도 지거력이 그거 안 시게 되는 되는 주고 삼다 저 가서 책을 주고 삼다는 거 그랬어.
다도 좋아하는 거 있더라고요. 시시지 대전에 제일 맛이. 아직 좋아로 되죠. 좋아로. 제가 제일 좋아하는 좋아로 좋아하지.
So yeah, I don't know. You can call it conscious or not. You know, a conscious is like intentionally do it or not. You know, it's not. It's not like I'm going to focus only on the word, not going to focus on the meaning. It's not like that. You know? So at the point, first you hear the word and then later you understand the meaning. You know, so at the point when you're just listening to the word, maybe that's called.
So it's just a natural progression.
And then later when you try to when you investigate on the meaning, you say, oh, so this is called this. It's called this word. And so what is the meaning of that word now? So when you investigate, then it becomes the clear realization of meaning.
It's like 대한 서로 맞다고 그러잖아.
So it doesn't mean that you don't, focus on the meaning at all.
Okay.
It's like juicing the words and getting the meaning.
Juicing the word to get the meaning.
Yeah, it's like juicing the words to get the meaning. Is that what it is? It seems like that.
How do you say juicing in Tibet?
You get as much out of it, and then you get a meaning.
특히 코어 때는 대놓고 와. Juicing the word to get meaning.
That's the chef's language. 대 시당 내려와. 지금 거울라 되니 된지 다 되는 거울 보세. 지금은 때만 거울.
So there's also a saying in Tibetan, So by depending on the stick of word, you come to understand the meaning. Same. By juicing the word, and you understand the meaning.
지지 특 거울에 지지 세요. 가지 마지 특대 먹은 거 알아. 아니 그 가래. 나도 지금 간대라.
Similarly.
Therefore, the norm is that doesn't take a meaning. The most focus of this, they just have to do that. The Kaganochi, okay?
It sounds just a lot like learning, like anything, right?
Yeah.
When you first go to school, you memorize so many things, but it's not until later that it really makes sense or becomes like your own knowledge.
That's right.
근데 그걸 존엄나 그래서 존엄나 때문에 그냥 사제 토백이 라나 집에 툭 담보 쏴지는 가서 아니 존엄스라 그래서.
So it's called path of accumulation, right? It's just a name, So the reason why it's called path of accumulation is because you first, you begin to accumulate path. Accumulate merit in order to achieve enlightenment, right? But it doesn't mean that you don't accumulate merit during the path of preparation, right? You do accumulate merit. Why don't you call it path of accumulation at that time? No, it's again, it's just the reason, It's because you start, at that point.
아니 대배사라 그래 대배사. 다들 대배사. 근데 대소 영화라. 봐 그래. 그 봐야죠. 아니 대배사 나오랬어.
그래서 영화 말이야.
대소 영화도 아니 전바지 등에다 쏠지지 전 쏠지지 샤비지. 그러니까 그래.
대배 가서 대배사?
대소 영화.
맞다. 내가 올라왔을 때
대배사라 그랬어. 그래서 메로. 근데 가지로 대소 영화를 켜와야죠. 아니 대배사 나오면 다시 다 뒤가나요. 그거 뭐 보이러 왔습니다. 그러는 거죠. 전바 존지 등에다 셔럽. 전바 존지 등에다 셔럽. 아니 대파 거기서.
And it's also called part of faith or belief, part of faith or belief, because you're skilled in the five, the path and the faith and so forth. So the
Which
faith.
one is?
Let's just talk about one. He has many names. Don't forget, okay?
But which path of accumulation is also called path of
First one.
Yes.
First.
The first one. He has many names, you know.
Accumulation.
Okay?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, not just your time.
My question is about the term realization. I'm just confused because we are using the term for all of these paths. So we are saying like the realization of the doctrine, you know, for the Tsoglam, and then the realization of the meaning for the Jorlan. But then we are saying like there's a difference between the realization on the path of seeing, in that it's direct realization versus assumed and indirect realization. But the term Nguntok, isn't it direct realization, or it's translated clear realization?
Clear, yeah. Yeah, ngombar toba da ngosum toba ni ti khaga shara. Tanda de ngondok se ngombar toba se da.
Tanda ngondok se da to ngenju la ji da ngenju sa.
Ma da ngombar toba se da ngosum do toba se jara. 돈이 또 오라. 장선 저런 몇 가서 돈이 또 오라. 돈이 ngombar to 오라. ngondok la koran koran jira 돈이 또 ngondok yo라. ngondok 어디는 ngondok ngosum to 말했어.
ngosum to 말했어.
어디서?
ngosum to는 밥.
맞아. ngondok도 ngosum to니 가르쳐. ngosum도 또 봤어야 다. ngombar to 봤어야 다. ngosum to 봤어야 가르쳐 보자.
단단 ngombar to 봤어야 돼. 단디 가서 ngombar to 봤어야 돼. 저다 ngenju로 봐. 거도라나? 되게 ngenju, 되게 또 ngenju, 되게 또 ngenju서 거기서.
ngombar to 봤어.
ngombar to 봤어. 되게 되나. 니들이랑 그나 아니 니들이잖아. 야 니들이 ngombar to 봤어. 라자 ngombar to 나 라자에 남람서 ngenju서. 거기서. 돈이 또 못 하게 만는데.
맞아. 돈이 그렇게 좋아 맞지. ngondok 세자. ngombar to 봤다. ngosum to 봤는데 뒤셔가 거다. 대 저런 벼서 ngombar to 봐요라다. ngondok 요라.
내 거 뒤에도 또 맞고 그저 말. 내가 람부터 가지.
똑똑세 똑바디 걸 람라. 똑바디 람라. ngombar to 봤어야 돼. 람라. ngondok 세.
일단 람들 그저 했어.
네.
얘 땡에서 또 맞고 그저 말해 돼. 이제 니들이 도래. 또 나라다이 나데 니들이 나거나 그러.
아, ngondok 세 돼. 똑요 말해.
또 맞고 그저 말해.
또 맞게 지 말해.
그저 말. 가지
또
니들
가라 그 가진 또 ngondok 세 돼.
니들 남래. 라자가 남래 살 거. 니들 ngenju래. 라자가 ngenju래.
똑세 돼 가서.
똑 시다디 똑세대라 얘또 그렇게 저러.
다 알아들어.
인간도 가서. 다 맞아. 사자는 또 그렇게 또 그렇게 저러.
그래.
다 가도 왔나 가지 다 ngenju. 또 별로 생각하지. 고발에 나가지 별로 그랬어요. 그래서 이제 남을 그것도 또 뭔데 이렇게 시험
I'm not sure about that clear realization being the realization. And they say clear realization, according to Geshe-la, it means just a path. It means like the path. The path or renunciation of path.
Okay. So it just
So it's just the hero's clear realization. It means the hero's path. Soldier realizer's clear realization means soldier realizer's path.
강갈 이거 강가자로 그랬어. 대나리 딜란으로 바꾸거든요.
So it's just like you will hear this in a clear realization, added, or joined to other paths.
Yeah, right.
That means there's the part of this, part of that.
Yeah. But then what does clear realization mean in that case? Is this a case where we are naming the cause with the name of the result? You get the clear realization because you accumulate the merits on the Tsoglam, or
ngombar toba sejo라. ngombar toba 세데 가라데 그래서 대부분이 율라 잡아든 줄 그랬어. 다 저런 게 되는 선언이 없어. 초사바나 사람 거도 초하고 사바인데 제가 저런 ngombar toba 율라 기고라서 뒤지는 다 대부분이 민들은 율라 잡으셔야 되는 그랬어.
당내가 세월에 나야면서 간지 다 교도로 가라나 간지 맞지. 그래서 뭐부터 남래 니주가 남래 니도 니주가 남래 라다 니주가 남래 살아오랬어.
Not very clear about that, but when you say clear realization, it means it's a path. The clear realization of the social realizer means the clear realization of the path of the social realizer.
아니 되게 니주도 보던도 와서 그걸 니주라나 니도
renunciation.
you have to have renunciation.
그러나 이미 제대 가나 저랑 람강하고 강가 잡고 왔어.
So later it will be connected to all the parts. So it's just, the clear realization of this, clear realization of that means like part of this, part of that. So it's not talking about the realization of emptiness.
Yeah. But it has something to do, I mean, it does have some meaning related to learning or change in your personal like knowledge or something, right?
So yeah, you have that the renunciation in your mind, right? Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, that realization, yes. So you have generated a knowledge or realization that you didn't have before, right?
Yeah.
So right now we don't have that. We don't have the clear realization. Yeah. So we don't have that knowledge. So yeah, it's the knowledge, of the mind.
Are there realizations that are not, part of any religious path? I mean, can we talk about realization in terms of just learning like science or something too? You think so? So you think so?
Yeah, it's Dharma term. The clear realization is the Dharma term. And in the ordinary term, you can say knowledge.
Yeah. But what we are theorizing in general with the whole entire text is kind of how a person who's like us, who's just ordinary, develops, by learning different things, by deepening their knowledge and insight until the point of becoming a Buddha. So it's really about learning. I mean,
but that's
a specific type of
sharing, of course. This knowledge. Okay, now don't forget, okay, if we doesn't confuse just one, then next one was not confused. There are many numbers coming next. You know that?
Yeah.
A lot of numbers. But that solam so the show but that just that can go. Into Pemela.
So now the part of accumulation and the part of preparation are definitely the ordinary part of the healer's ground.
And
so now you have to check, how do you check, whether you have entered into a path or not? Check whether you have these knowledges or not. These clear realizations or not.
One time in Sarah, one Geshe, he teach these things. Then one student, he's little,
Dumb.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Very, dumb, maybe. Then after teaches, the teacher asks, okay, what you guys think? Which level are you? Then he thinking of the soul is the lower one. That Lama Mashiro, he thinks maybe I'm there. Then he asked, after teacher, I'm the there, first one. Then the teacher a little angry.
So if you say you are there, then that shows that you are not there. So if you are there, you don't have to say it. You show the sign of being there.
Anyway, it's okay, yeah.
Very quick question, Geshe. You said, just a clarification, you said that the transition from path of preparation to seeing is during the meditation on super mundane qualities, when you have that direct realization of emptiness. And you said it takes one meditation session, but it's not that it only takes one meditation session, it might take many, 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 but that transition happens in one? Like you sit down once and it happens? Or what I mean is, once you achieve that level of meditation, of super mundane qualities, are you saying that it only takes meditating on that way once, or that the transition happens during a meditation as opposed to in post-meditative equipoise? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tayina da chozo 값다 소소 또 돈이 냠바 제거라. 냠바 차는 야야 라야 야 냠바 야 냠바 제초라. chozo 값.
대체적으로 주조 가서야 주조 가서 소소 들어가자 양양바죠 소소 들어가자 양양바죠 근데 양바죠 방인 돈은 토토단 듀스는 가라 양바 봐서는 되네 들라고 말했어 돈은 맞아봐 양바 세상만 돈 돌아.
Yes, during the supreme mundane quality level, of course, you can have many meditation sessions, but then the transition happens in during one session.
다대선이 시당에도 생일날 나와서 시당에 생일날입니다. 주먹을 생일 가르친 거예요.
Yeah, so now we'll go through those definitions again.
Okay.
The definitions of those 4 different levels of path of preparation.
I just wanted to check that it wasn't that once you reach that meditation level, you only have one meditation there, and that's the only session. You might have many sessions, but the transition happens in one.
It could be.
Well, you could be, yeah.
We'll see it later.
Okay.
If not necessary, if you do it just once, you achieve the Dharma, then you can go. Okay, you have a question?
We do have homework questions.
Okay. Who was it?
Stated.
Who stated in the oh, it's too long. Can you read it?
You can read it.
It's too long.
So it's who stated, comma, and then in parentheses it says, in that there is the accumulation of exalted wisdom and so forth. Who stated that?
In that there is the accumulation of exalted wisdom. Just that phrase alone.
Yeah,
who
just that
stated
phrase. Yeah. And so forth. So there's many. So it starts with that.
Didn't that come from the argumentative realization? But I forget the word.
Who?
The mental game.
Who stated that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so who is that?
I don't know.
That's what we need to know. I'm sure somebody did it.
That was my trail, but I don't think that's
maybe, all right?
I don't think that's his.
Yeah.
That's
Not this one.
I knew it.
How you know?
He said it.
Okay, this is a Haribad, okay?
There it is.
Haribhadra.
Haribadra.
Haribhadra.
One of the 17 Indian fellows.
Those 17 people.
Yeah,
Scholars.
One of the 17
he's part of
Panditas.
masters
Fellow
from
as,
Nalanda.
fellow as in Harvard fellow.
Right, Nalanda masters.
He wrote an song. What's that?
He wrote about it.
아무튼 내가 니시어라서 뭐지 상마든
He didn't write all 20.
Yeah, no, not all.
그거 콜 맞아. 이도지 저 니신하니?
찍대 걸.
다 그도 마보이는데 내 찍었어.
Yeah, he did write it.
Yeah.
I have a list of all of them.
Yeah. Not all of them. Yeah.
Not all them, okay?
He made lists.
저한테 이거 참고할 거야. 그건 내가 니시스 송아였어.
Wow.
He did this.
Anyway, so Haribhadra, wrote commentary, the known as clear meaning, right? And that's the commentary to Ornament of Clear Realization by Buddha Maitreya.
Okay. The second, what is the purpose of explaining this too long?
You wrote the questions, Geshe.
What is the purpose of explaining? Then what is it?
Accumulation.
Accumulation of exalted wisdom. Okay? Who come there last week? We didn't talk this a long time. Forget, everybody?
Would you?
It's on page 1 of the text.
Yeah. I know you guys did.
Can you ask the question again, Geshe?
What is the purpose of explaining what's the
Accumulation
of
exalted
wisdom? Could he? Yeah, what does that? Can you read?
The reason for the accumulation of exalted wisdom is difficult to realize.
Yeah.
And If realized,
Realized, it is
carries great benefit.
great benefit. Yeah, this is the answer, okay? You guys got it? Then why it is difficult to realization, accumulation of exalted wisdom. Why?
Why is it difficult?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it difficult?
Because your morality has to be almost perfect in order to have those kinds of realizations.
No, not this specific.
It's more mundane than that.
Really?
Hey,
Yeah.
Vikram. Hey, Dila.
He knows.
She knows.
It's difficult because you need direct realization of emptiness?
No.
Or you're talking about direct realization of emptiness?
No, it's really mundane. The question is about why there were 17 categories, but Haribhadra only commented on one of them.
Yeah, it's here.
Why? And then...
No, wait, what's the question? Why is it difficult to discuss, right?
Difficult to realize.
The
sorry,
accumulation of exalted wisdom.
So the reason why he commented on only one is because basically...
What was your answer?
I said he commented on that one. It's difficult to realize that because it involves direct realization of emptiness. That is discussing the direct realization of emptiness, which is difficult to understand.
It's close.
Yeah.
Don't you talk higher? Teachers. So what was your answer?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
It's because the Geshe Mangxing, Geshe Tsig Mangxing, Geshe Kitsik Mangxing, and Geshe Dun Mangxing, right?
Dun Mangxing.
Yeah.
That's why. It said
It's
difficult because there are too many terms and too many meanings. Like there are a lot of meaning and a lot of terms. No. The question is, let's see. Sokjup chudung inane satsok junche.
This is easy talk.
저도 주등은
Oh, that's the side talk.
Yeah, this side talk.
Yeah. Then I don't know.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Because words.
저도 주딩은 담아도 이시 도시에 봤어. Then side talk. First issue talk, then side talk.
What side talk?
Side talk. Side talk is sa.
Accumulation of ground. So that's like accumulation of wisdom, and then there comes the other accumulation of ground.
Of the 17.
Side talk is just sa.
Ground.
So what's the answer?
So the answer.
What Sojub said.
Emptiness.
이시 초카래. 또게 또나 돈이 또 가래 가고 다 가래 가고.
Issue talks to 돈이 또 So the accumulation of exalted wisdom, is referring to the realization of emptiness. It is because it's difficult to realize emptiness, therefore it is difficult to realize the accumulation of exalted wisdom. So what Sojub said is right actually.
Yeah. Usually I think like 20 emptiness is the experience. Then we did talk about this last one. What kind of
Consciousness.
What kind of consciousness?
What kind of consciousness?
One kind of consciousness is in accumulation of exalted wisdom.
Exalted wisdom. What kind of consciousness is the accumulation of exalted wisdom? You understand the question?
Yeah. The good one.
What kind of consciousness is it?
The good one.
Yeah, what is it?
Number me talk about
돈이 또 불러.
로야 뭐지 됐어?
돈이 또 불러. 돈이 또 불러.
로 가는 데서 거라.
로 가는 집 있나?
로 가는 로야 뭐지 됐어?
Lower Sheba.
Sheba, lo. So in here is lo. But you can say Sheba also. You say Sheba. So like she something chick. So what kind of consciousness is it? The accumulation of wisdom, accumulation of exalted wisdom is what kind of consciousness? It's what kind of consciousness?
You already said the answer.
Who?
You.
When did I say?
You said don't you talk it up.
I didn't know that.
That's what you said.
can do it.
consciousness that's rendered empty from its own side completely.
돈이 더 불러라.
예, 돈이 도무도 또 봐라.
돈이 was 더 불러라.
근데 돈이
If you say non-conceptual, then it has to be direct realization. So when you realize emptiness in the manner of meaning generality, you still have conceptual thought there. So you can't say non-conceptual.
돈이 도발올라, 돈이 도발었다, 대신 도발이라.
So when you realize emptiness, you can realize it also, indirectly or in the manner of meaning generality, and then realize it directly.
So
you can say the accumulation of exalted wisdom is a kind of consciousness that realizes emptiness. And so again, in order to realize the exalted wisdom, or an accumulation of exalted wisdom, you have to realize emptiness. Because it's difficult to realize emptiness, therefore it's difficult to realize an accumulation of exalted wisdom. Then again, same, so it is difficult to understand, but if you understand, it's very beneficial.
Okay.
So now we're starting, so we should not make any mistake from the beginning. So if you make a big mistake in the beginning, then there will be more mistakes in later. So if you're clear, perfect, right from the beginning, then later everything will be right.
If you go down, then the Lord counts.
So there are many countings, many things to count as you go further and further.
Okay. Okay, we stop.
Thank you, Geshe-la. And just before we do these closing prayers, we'll just say that we want to try to do a little study group for this on Wednesday. So whenever we have class, if you want to meet at 6:30 in the library, we'll try to meet and just review the material from last week and maybe go over the questions, the homework questions together before class. So that's what we're going to try to do. Anytime there is class, we can meet a half hour early in the library and do a little study group. If anyone's interested, they're welcome to come. And Andy's going to help us lead some of those.
Is there a fan?
We have air conditioners in this room, actually. We haven't quite turned them on yet, but it's
air conditioning in the library as well.
It's going to be soon, apparently.
I was in there earlier.
You don't need it, you don't need it.
Yeah, because you guys kept the door closed.
Okay. So let's turn to page 8, and we'll offer mandala offering verses 1 and 4 in Tibetan.
Come on.
Sashi Pyogi Chukching Meto Tram Rira Blinkin Nite Kempadi Sangye Shingdu Mite Uwangi Jokunam Dakshin Lashe Pacho Jetsun Mame Kutse Raptenshin Nam Karchmin Le Chokyo Kepatan Lopsan Tempe Drome Sasumgi Drowe Munsel Taktu Negushin Idam Guru Ratna Mangala Kam Niryatayami. For my 2 collections, vast is space that I have amassed from working with effort of this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best and complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I discern them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous, virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And we will continue with long long life prayers, beginning with the third verse on page 10 for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then moving to page 16 for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Kamri Rawe Kowe Shinkam De Pendam Dewa Malu Shangwe Chenre Zigwang Tenzin Gyapsoi Shape Site Bantu Tengyo Shik. Vijaya, all-conquering goddess whose lunar-like face changes with our changing fates, the faintest cooling ray of whose mantra name allays the fiery pain of our life's final end, Rainmaker, adept who brings forth life's rain, here now grant your greatest of gifts, victorious goddess, grant life without end. Hear our prayer, O Lama, whom we revere, you who bear the name of He who peerlessly holds the living essence of the pure, paradigmatic doctrine of the victors, of He alone adornment of the earth, of He a guide to sublime liberation, the spirit of peace. Precious treasure of precise and subtle reasoning, golden laser light of bright unerring wisdom, clarifying without confusion the true truths among the multiplicity of things, Lama remain immutably among us, a radiant Dharma sun. Skilled in sprinkling the waters of healing, fulfilling needs, benefiting all, a laughing smile revealing pearls of skill, humility, and constancy, a deep milky sea of the liquid moon of morality, Lama remain immutably among us, one supremely worthy of veneration. The moon of your Mahayana mind, ringed round by the fever-cooling camphor of unsullied, unsurpassed resolve, brilliantly swirls to the bounds of space, unbounded seas of the happiness of now and the bliss of always. Lama remain immutably among us, a moon guiding our way. Your teachings are vast, spreading rivers of celestial nectar, your dialectics an invincible cutting Vajra weapon. Your writings, thousand-petal lotuses unfolding their glory, Lama remain immutably among us, a guardian of highest knowledge. By the might of seas and spiritual masters, deities and doctrine protectors, by the power of profound dependent arising and the unvarying emptiness of all that appears, may all the hopes of our prayers with effortless ease be spontaneously fulfilled. Please turn to prayer for peace and freedom, which you'll find either after page 22 in the back of the book or in the front pocket. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll do this now. Due to the great force of negative karma amassed in past lives, in this life we Tibetans are undergoing great suffering. May all the causes for this suffering finally be consumed, and may the happy sun of freedom dawn above us all. The most salient supported condition for the suffering of Tibetans are the Chinese, who are confused about what causes happiness and pain. May they develop great loving kindness and compassion directed toward us Tibetans and all sentient beings. We must recognize that for us Tibetans to view the Chinese as our enemies, and for them to view us with hatred and disdain, will cause ceaseless suffering for all concerned. Knowing this, let us have love for one another like the love between mother and child. Through the powerful reality of the three jewels and of relativity free of extremes, and through the powerful truth of the unwavering causality of karma, good or bad, may these aims that I prayed for with a good heart come to pass right now without any hindrance. We're turning to page 14, prepare to always meet with perfect teachers. Your form embodies all Buddhas, your nature is that of Vajradhara. You are the root of the three jewels, homage to you, O Gurus. In short, I seek your blessings, O Protector, to be cared for by you from birth, unremittingly throughout all my lives, and thus to become your chief disciple, holding every secret of your body, speech, and mind. O Protector, please grant that all be auspicious for me to be foremost among your very first circle of disciples, wherever you manifest Buddhahood, so that all my temporal and ultimate wishes, without exception, may be effortlessly and spontaneously fulfilled. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Furthermore, in life after life, may I, pleasing him in return, be forever fostered by an accomplished Mahayana spiritual master, the source of every virtue of this world and beyond. In his care may I acquire in him a firm, unshakable faith, pleasing him by every means possible, doing nothing even for an instant to disappoint. May my spiritual master impart to me every instruction and every teaching in its entirety. Having understood them faultlessly, may I practice them and be able to bring them to perfection. May I never, even for a moment, fall under the sway of malevolent teachers and misleading friends. Having developed in every life belief in cause and effect, renunciation, the Bodhi mind, and the pure view, may I embark upon them continually with effortless experience. In every life, may every virtuous act gathered by way of body, speech, and mind be causes solely for the welfare of others and for the purest and highest enlightenment. And we will conclude with dedication verses on page 10. Do you want to do a couple of protector or no? Okay. So verses 1, 2, and 4 on page 10. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having Kurukulla say, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Migme sewe ten chen chen rezi, three me kembe wampo jam velyang, kang chen gepe sugyen song kapa, lo sandra pe shabla soan.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. And so very